Welcome to the Pit Check, your local news for the best new releases from your favorite heavy bands. Today we have some incredible new albums. Death metal, metalcore, and hardcore punk in particular have a lot to look forward to. And like every week, deathcore and slam have some awesome new releases as well. So like always, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let's get right into this week's heaviest new albums. This is one of the best hardcore punk bands ever created. The Warriors are back after 6 years with another full-length album titled Burn Yourself Alive. Not that you care, but this is literally the band that got me into hardcore in like 2006. And yet they say was the song that made it all click for me. And after like 23 years as a band, they're still putting out some of their best music. Not that this is a bunch of old dudes or anything, but I'm really surprised how much energy and passion and rage is infused into each song. I dare you to try and sit still while listening to this album. The guitar and especially the bass sounds incredible on this album, both in terms of the mix and just the riffs. This one is definitely for fans of old school hardcore, but they have this amazing way of weaving in these guitar harmonies and even metal elements. Every single song on this album is interesting and unique, and a lot of them are weirdly catchy with group vocals that'll get stuck in your head all day. So if you want some incredible new hardcore from some of the best to ever do it, check out The Warriors and their newest album, Burn Yourself Alive. And I cut through snakes with deadly death metal legends Arch Enemy are back with a brand new album. This is an 11-song album titled Blood Dynasty, and this might be their heaviest album yet. The guitars are fantastic on here, with tons of great riffs and melodies and solos. The drummer is super clean and the bass tone is unreal. And the vocals have a ton of range. The lows especially sounded great and were totally unexpected. This is easily some of their most interesting and aggressive music to date. This album has a great mix of death metal, groove metal, and at times catchy classic power metal anthem-y choruses, and they all blend extremely nicely. And after 25 years, it's awesome to see that bands of their status are willing to push themselves as musicians, refusing to become stale. And selfishly, I love that even popular bands like this are moving away from those more marketable sounds and back towards their heavy roots. I was very impressed with this album, and I highly recommend it to any old fan of Arch Enemy. And for people who have never heard of this band, I think this is actually a great place to start. Again, that was Arch Enemy with their new album, Blood Dynasty. Invent Animate and Silent Planet have finally teamed up. These two absolute powerhouses in the metalcore scene have finally come together to create this new 3-song EP, Bloom in Heaven. And yeah, that's the unfortunate thing here. It's only 3 songs. The 3 songs are incredible, but yeah, it's only 12 minutes long. You should sort of know what to expect on this EP if you're a fan of either of these bands. Some amazing spacey and chuggy guitars, insanely clean drumming, and beyond impressive vocal performances, no matter who the vocalist is. Will I find you at the end? This is a collab that's been joked and teased about for many years now, and fans have been dying to hear what these 2 bands sound like when they put their heads together. And the result is a really well thought out and technically masterful showcase, especially instrumentally. And both of these bands fuse their 2 sounds together perfectly. But I guess that's not super shocking, given that both of these bands share a similar style. So it's not like they were trying to jam a square peg into a round hole or anything. If you're a fan of either of these bands, or you love that emotional, melodic, guitar-forward metalcore, you need to check out this collaboration EP from Invent Animate and Silent Planet, titled Bloom in Heaven. Ever heard of Maori metal? Alien Weaponry is a proggy groove metal band from New Zealand, and they have a new album out titled Te Ra. This trio of guys all have Maori ancestry, and a large number of their songs are written and performed in the Maori language. Which I have to say, the Maori songs are easily my favorite ones on this album. I love the staccato vocal rhythms they use. And instrumentally, this band is unbelievably good. The guitars are heavy and bouncy with a lot of djent elements, especially if you're a fan of bands like Tesseract or even Lamb of God. I think you're gonna love this. This is an 11-song album running about 42 minutes, and speaking of Lamb of God, there's an awesome feature here from Randy Blythe. So if you want some really unique new metal with a lot of passion and heart behind their music, check out the new album Te Ra by Alien Weaponry. Need some shoegaze black metal? Deafheaven is finally back with their newest album, Lonely People with Power. This is a weird band to try and define. They blend black metal with shoegaze, post-rock, dark pop, atmospheric ambiance, spoken word, and so much more. Their last album, Infinite Granite, was a huge surprise in that there was like zero screaming or heaviness of any kind. But that's not the case here. This is definitely a black metal album, just a very unique one. This is an extremely poetic and thoughtful album. The vibe here is ethereal and epic, yet melancholy. Imagine explosions in the sky, but black metal. This is a beautiful album, and I'm sure it's going to be extremely divisive in the black metal community. I know, it's not true black metal or whatever. But genuinely, this might be one of the best albums this band has ever released. Top 2 or 3 for sure. If you want some gorgeous, soul-crushing music, check out Deafheaven and their newest album, Lonely People with Power. You always hear about New York hardcore and Bay Area hardcore, but where's the love for Baltimore hardcore? Baltimore bands like Gasket and Doubt and my personal favorite, End It, have been proving time and time again that Baltimore is one of the freshest scenes for hardcore punk. And now you can add the band JIVEBOMB to that list. JIVEBOMB is a really fun and fast-paced hardcore band, and they've just released their debut album, ETHEREAL. This is a 10-song album that runs a whopping 15 minutes, so literally every song is roughly a minute and a half. That's how you know it's a true hardcore album. And there is actually a surprising amount of range on this album, with some songs being a lot more punk and others being stupidly heavy. And I have to point out how gritty and textured this recording is. I love that you can literally hear the fingers sliding across the strings, and even the subtle vibrations of like the bass strings rattling. I love it. It feels like you're in the room with them. Is this the most unique album in the world? No, of course not. But it's a ton of fun and it kicks a ton of ass, and especially so for a debut album. I highly recommend checking out ETHEREAL by JIVEBOMB. You'll tear through the whole album before you're done unpacking your groceries. Do you like really down-tempo deathcore? Castiel are an Austrian deathcore band with a new EP out titled Kháos. If you like brutally heavy sludge and doom metal influences in your deathcore, this'll be right up your alley. This EP has an incredibly overwhelming sound. It feels like you're being smothered by crushing guitars and pig squeals, or like an unavoidable meteor is crashing towards the earth. This EP is only 6 songs at 22 minutes, but God, it feels like a lifetime. And I mean that in a good way. I think that deathcore, slam, and beatdown lovers are gonna have a great time with this one. Every song just gets slower and slower and heavier and heavier. I figured it out. This EP is like drowning in molasses. So if you need some unbelievably heavy and slow deathcore music, check out Castiel and their newest EP, Kháos. Before we continue, I just want to say thanks again for checking out this video, and doubly so if you've already subscribed or left any comments. It really means a ton, and I try to respond to literally every single one. Both on here and on TikTok, you guys have been incredibly kind. So I just wanted to say thank you. It really means a lot. And if you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing. I do these weekly best of the new metal music every single week. So join me, won't you? Anyway, back to the music, and thanks again. Thrash metal is making such a comeback. Doomsday are an up-and-coming thrash and speed metal band, or as they say, Bay Area Riff City bad boys, Oakland thrash behemoths. Honestly, they're not lying. The riffs here are incredible and non-stop. This is Doomsday's 10-song debut album titled Never Known Peace. This album is so much fun. It's always moving, high energy, guitar is constantly shredding and soloing, and the double bass is always galloping. Like, it literally feels like if I put it down, this album's just gonna get up and run away. I have nothing but good things to say about this album. This is definitely a band to keep your eye on. And again, I love that this style of old school thrash is coming back so hard. So if you want some amazing new thrash to get your heart rate up for your next jog or something, definitely check out Doomsday and their debut album, Never Known Peace. Need some hilariously self-aware new slam? Peepeepoopooballsectomy, God, I literally can't say that with a straight face, is here with their debut EP, Stinking Demo. I mean, what can I say here? This is obviously a joke band, but like the best joke bands, kinda slaps. This band is disgustingly heavy just for the sake of being heavy, and pokes fun at a lot of the cliches and inside jokes of the slam and beatdown hardcore community.
Going to throw my shit at you.
This is only a 4-song EP that lasts a whopping 7 minutes, but still, it's a lot of fun. And I hope they can continue to put out surprisingly good music, just to prove they're more than an incredible name. So I think they've got a good thing going for them, and I'm excited to hear what they have next. Again, that was Peepeepoopooballsectomy. Oh, I did it. With their new EP, Stinking Demo. Okay, and finally, I know Memphis May Fire put out a new album, Shapeshifter, and Underoath put out a new album, The Place After This One, but honestly, I don't think I'm the right person to talk about those albums. Both of those bands were such a big part of my high school and college, and they're just not those bands anymore. Not that that's a bad thing, but for me, it's just near impossible to look at them objectively. So I'll let you guys be the judge of that, and let me know in the comments if I'm missing out by skipping over them this week. But come on, I got a lot of metal to go through every week. And that's it. Thanks again for joining me this week, and I'll catch you next week for another Pit Check.